Yo, what's good? Welcome back to another episode of the Henny Nights podcast. As always, I'm your host, your brother Jay White. First things first, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to this at. Leave a rating, leave a note about the podcast, what you liked about it, what really resonated with you. Share it on all the platforms, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are. I always appreciate that support. And I appreciate y'all tapping into the pod for sure. Next thing, Henny Nights merch is available in the show notes. Make sure you click that Linktree link that's in there. It'll take you through all the various different podcasts I've been on, articles that I've had. It'll take you to the merch store. That's where you can get your tees, your crew necks. Everything Henny Nights related is right there. So make sure y'all check that out as well. So I got a really, really dope guest on the podcast with me today. Doing really, really, really great things. And it's a pleasure and an honor for me to get him on the podcast. So I always let my guests introduce themselves, do the plugs and get whatever they want to get out the way. So my guy, the floor is yours.
I appreciate that, Jay White. I appreciate having me on, man. I'm glad we get a chance to sit down and have this conversation. My name is Chris. Shout out to all the listeners tuning in. Thanks for y'all support for listening on Jay White behalf at that too. I see you guys buying the merch. I see they was on your head about the merch at some point, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm a COO of the name of the business is the Melanated Bar, and it's the Melanated Bar on all platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Google. Right to the website, themelanatedbar.com. Check in with us. I mean, usually when you click, you fall in love, and that's why we are what we are today. And so, I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. So that's why you are here, man. I always like having the space for people to tell, their stories and talk about their journeys before someone else can tell it. Obviously, the Melanated Bar is established, but it still hits a little different when you're the one telling the XYZ and how you got to where you got to. So what is your backstory, bro? How did you get to this point?
What's crazy is we really still don't. I don't think we still know how we got to where we are today. I mean, we know by the blessings of God, but it was a hell of a turn of events for us because it was 2016. I think I had just graduated with my master's. And she had just graduated with her bachelor's. We was at Southern Illinois University, moved back to St. Louis. I started working full time. I'm down in St. Louis. I was on Washington Ave down there, corporate chemical company, right? And so we was doing that. We was having fun. We was living, but then at some point, so she was a stay-at-home mom at this time. We just had my first daughter. We got married in 2017. My brother passed away in 2017. So that kind of affected, like our whole family dynamic or whatever. And so she started looking for things to do, I guess, right? And so I was getting up, going to work every day. She was taking care of these kids. Her mom's a hustler, right? I know that they're from Chicago. I'm from St. Louis. So we got a nice little connection with our family. And so she always had hustle in her, right? And so at the time she was doing like DIY, T-shirt pressing and all of that type of stuff. And, she was selling that online. And then she, we got pregnant again, right? And then I think this depression and anxiety became a little bit more real for like our household at the time, even for me, because it was like at that time, I was making good money and I still didn't want to go to work. Like getting up, going to go clock in was like the worst thing ever. And I was in a, nice office downtown. I think we moved out to Kirkwood. But it was like, it just wasn't it, and it started for her like in 2008, 17, very small. I go to work all day. She'd be running back and forth. She made like a charcoal clay mask, you know what I mean? And then she wrote on it, put it in like a little envelope, sent it out, you know what I mean? Like that's literally where it started. Like, like somebody on the street, you know what I mean? You breaking down something. That's literally how it started for us. But it was a different mentality when you professional, right? And so 2018 hit and I'm searching for a new career. So we decide, I'm chasing this career. We're gonna move to Florida for 3 years. So in the middle of all of this going on, we moved to Florida. Crazy COVID kicks in, like right at 2018, 2019. So everything that was going on just stopped, right? So my severance package for my job was nice, but then unemployment started going, everybody started getting money for all types of stuff, right? Like everybody just getting checks, they check here, check there.
Paying you not to work.
You know what I mean? And so and that became what it was, right? And so she was working for enterprise at some point, that was bored and just a waste of time. Slowly she started putting systems in place for the business, right? And so what became just a charcoal place mask became like a kit, or it became, somehow she streamlined the process. Rolling into like 2019, at the beginning of 2019, we was at a crossroads between what I was going to do, where my career was headed next, and what we was going to do for us, what she was doing, right? And so, we looked at each other and was like, well, you know what, we're going to go hard at this for 3-4 months. And if we can replace the income that we would lose from you working, then you come help me, right? And in our head, it was like, if I could take time off her hands from doing some of the petty stuff, making boxes, packing orders, taking care of the back end of stuff, then she can focus on just content, right? Being the face. Because this is the stage of content, right? Coming up 2018, 19, 20, like everybody's doing everything from home, content crazy. And so that's what we did. We went all in on it. Like, all right, forget the job. Tell them you ain't coming. We ain't interested. They was like, they ain't interested because I don't know what I'm going to do. So, all right, cool. We went all in on the business. Came like 2020, it was an opportunity for us to grow even more. And I don't say that without skipping 50 parts of, we put systems in place to make it better at what we do, right? Once we started hitting milestones, we started hiring people, right? People who are better at email marketing, people who are better at, content or design, you know what I mean? People who are better at customer service. Started hiring those little positions, started paying out some of that money we was getting in. And the opportunity for us to move back to Chicago came up, and we jumped on it. We jumped on it because we had such of a network in the Chicago, St. Louis, this Midwest area, right? We had such of a network out here. And so in the minute we came out here, we just brought those same systems, but we just got better at what we did. And by this time, I'm full on, what I mean? Like when I first started, being a man, right? You know how we come in, we just know everything. Everything we're doing it wrong. This is the right way to do it. I know what I'm doing. You don't know what you're doing. And so we used to just butt heads a lot. And I slowly started kind of learning my role as, because if one person in the relationship or the business is the visionary, then the other person has to be that support to make sure that vision come true, right? Because visionaries can be, Kanye big, or, you could be as small as what we are, right? But it's about getting those operations forward. And so I started developing into that role, and we just started getting better at what we did. And we was able to tap into our market. We was able to tap into each other, our family. And some people was like, all right, you went from, a charcoal mask, $5 a month. Okay, now you're making $45,000 a month. Yeah, that was like a 5-year process over putting systems in place and then literally getting better at what we do, like as a company. And so that's how we got from like start 2016, 17 to where we are in 2023. And I tell people Q4 and Q1, like we learned those are the most important years. Like all year, you really planning for Q1 and Q4, and we just got good at it. And so that's how we are where we are today for as a business, with a lot of intricate details in between what we do.
Absolutely. So, yeah, you brought up, your wife and things like that. What are some of those? I know you said like, as far as a man, you like, well, we sometimes tend to act like we know it all and things like that or whatever. So what was that moment for you two where like the partnership clicked? Because obviously, there was some growing pains there or whatnot, but like, not only is, I guess financially your lifelines are both on the line and y'all both are pouring into this or whatever. What was that partnership dynamic like when it, starting off, and then when it finally clicked and was like, we are firing on all cylinders at this point?
I mean, when it's starting off, and even to this day, like, it could be once, every month or so, it still happens to where, we firing off at each other, and it's crazy. And so when we was young in it, it was more so me. It was like, all right, I come in with this ego because I have all this experience, right? I've managed this organization, I've done this, I've done that. So I'm just coming in and I'm like, well, you should do this, you should do this, you should. And that's what men do. And I think the most important thing is I wasn't listening on the back end. Right. And so if I'm not hearing what she's saying as the visionary, then it's hard for me. It's just like right now, if I hire somebody, I want you to come in and just change my company without seeing what my company looked like first. We may do what worked for us. Right. And so I think what I started doing, I'll be honest, was I started just reaching out to the men in my life. And these are the same men I probably should have been reaching out to when I was 21. Right. But, we from St. Louis. It take age and wisdom before I pick up the phone and I call my dad, or I call my uncle and be like, hey, this what happened today. Am I tripping? You know what I mean? And then I got a guy who's like 60, like, well, blah, 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 blah. Did you view it from this side or did you view it from, or, what fight are you having? You know what I mean? And so I think that became the topic is how many battles am I having and how many wars am I trying to win? Right. Like if it's about the business, then we're trying to win the war. Like, and it's not about taking sacrifices. I learned it's really about listening. Right. Because then if I'm the support role, then my job is how do I just simply support that idea, but then affect it on the operational level. You know what I mean? And so what I did more was I started, we have our meetings. I started making sure that I was present in the meeting, right? Like we won't, we don't have our phone on or whatnot. When we sat down, we had a meeting, I would actually be active and listening and trying to understand what we were doing. And then working from that experience, like, well, when we working, we are working, you know what I mean? Like we're married so we're always in some type of working scenario, whether it's with the kids, whether it's business, whether it's, we dealing with her family or my family. Like we're a dynamics where we should always be working to some sort, but we start to learn on which format are we working right now. You know what I mean? And so I think as a man, like I'm still the leader in this situation, right? Not being the visionary doesn't make you the leader. I had to understand how to lead from a supportive point of view and understand. And it's just like raising daughters too, where all that rah, 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 they be like, you ain't really listening to what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And so I'm kind of I'm not listening to what you're saying. But once I started just like raising my girls, once I started being open to, okay, what did you say? Okay, maybe I'm just not seeing it from your point of view, and I'm glad that I listened to you. You know what I mean? Let me go ahead and just evaluate what you said and what I'm thinking and see if I can put up something together that, takes everything into consideration. And so I think I learned to work in my marriage, in my business, even with my kids. Sometimes it's rah, 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 but when you step back as a man, you say, you know what? How do I lead from this position? You start saying, well, I got to always take a step back and try to see if I can come to a conclusion that fit all people. And I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot of times it's different dealing with men because we can agree to disagree and we're fine. Like we don't
right. We'll let it go.
Each other. Right. We had a beer, was like, take the shot, whatever. You was right, I was wrong. But with women, it's like, you know what, you gotta take that time and understand each other. Not that we're gonna come to a conclusion that's corroborative, but understand what we're saying and then make a decision or operate from that standpoint of, okay, let me make sure that I'm understanding and supportive. You know what I mean? Because we're going to do the best decision, right, for the business. And sometimes, one race or one gender or the other may react to emotional first, right? Like we understand that women may come across with their emotional mindset first before they get deeper into it. And then we come across bullheaded first, ignoring that emotion. Well, her intuition is her intuition. You know what I mean? And if you don't listen to it, whether you're in a relationship with her, in business with her, you ain't really listening. And so it became just that whole mindset of, all right, let me just listen and let's go from there. And how do I do my job and be successful in my role? You know what I mean? And whether it's, like I say, with my kids, my wife, or in business, it's the same thing. You try to, from talking to the men and kind of gathering, you try to, straddle those lines of, am I present? Am I doing, what I can do to be supportive? But, making those decisions.
Yeah, it's a learning process for sure. And it's good to hear that for you to say, because a lot of times we don't remove ourselves from the since we're so much in it, you don't remove yourself from it because like, well, hell, I'm knee deep in it with you too, or whatever.
Very true.
But even if you're in it together as a team, from various different backgrounds, your perspective can be completely different. Y'all see things, totally different. And like coming to that compromise, it's super important because sometimes, like you said, you don't agree on something,
right?
And, and it's just like, okay, well, like I'm not gonna continue. I'm not gonna continue to hold a grudge against you or whatever. We just don't. I see your opinion, you see mine, and we'll do what's best for the business moving forward. So that's super dope, and kudos to you for that. Being able to lock into that. But you also said you had mentors too, so and older men, and that's super important. So what has that meant to you, especially being a husband and being a father?
Because I was just gonna say you're about what, a year younger than me or so. How old are you?
I'm 34.
Yep. So you about a year. I was like you class of 07. So you're younger than me.
Yeah.
So I feel like we experiencing like the same type of growing
Absolutely.
pains, probably being men from that St. Louis area, inner city area. But like I didn't tap into that because like my dad didn't grow up in my household, right? Like my mom was married at some point, and he was a strong part of my life, Terry. You know what I mean? He basically raised me and my brother, but my dad was always in and out. But it was always that, all right, do I really know my dad type situation? Granted, my dad had like 4 or 5 brothers. My mom had 4 or 5 brothers. So I had a plethora of uncles, but it wasn't until I got to the stage of life where I was like 28, 29. And, you got too much to lose to say that I can't ask somebody their opinion. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can't be like, if I was 21 running around, all right, cool. I keep making decisions for me. I'm only affecting me. You know what I mean? But then when you get to a point to where like, all right, we got enough on this line to let me make sure that I'm not tripping. Cause I feel like I've been hard-headed. I feel like sometimes I don't want to see the other side. Even in business, like I talk to somebody, like I really don't want to see your other side. Like when I came with a proposal, that was really all I had. You know what I mean? So you know, but when you in a relationship or even when I was working in the office, corporate environment, when dealing with superiors or subordinates who are of the opposite sex, well, the approach always has to be thought about. You know what I mean? Like my message can be the same, but my approach has to fit that moment. So that way you never offend anyone, because technically we operate off of different, metrics or whatever. But I feel like I tapped into my dad and my uncle now at a later stage in life. I'm kind of glad I did though, because I value that now. And so like now when we're at a family events or I'm reaching out, I'm talking to my Uncle John on a Sunday morning and he quoting Bible verses, it's more meaningful for me now. Like I understand what he's saying. I feel like once again, we're younger. I don't know if I was listening. Right. You know what I mean? And so it's like your uncle say this, you be like, yeah, whatever, you wave your hand, whatever, I'm on the south side of St. Louis, I gotta do me. You don't know what you're talking about. right. You know what I mean? Well, he ain't saying at that 17-year-old version you need to make that all the right decisions, but what he's telling you is you need to make sure you make it till you're 21. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you beat some of these, stigmas that's out here. And so I've really enjoyed having my dad, my uncle, right now, having that ongoing relationship, even as I deal with my nephews. Like I said, my brother passed away in 2017. So even with them, I work with them now. Like, well, if you only calling me when you need something, then I don't really like answering my phone. Like, and it's not like I need you to check, I don't need you to check on me, right? But if me and you are conversing on an ongoing basis, I know what's going on in your life. So I'm not going to miss your prom. I'm not going to need to know when your birthday or when graduation is. If we just got some semblance of a relationship, we know this about each other. You know what I mean? Right. And so having that relationship with my dad and my uncles now has worked wonders, like in my marriage, in business, in my personal life with my friends. You know what I mean? Because it's like, now, and I'll be honest, like one thing I haven't found, even like you've been a young black male, I haven't found like a business mentor. Right. Because it's like, it ain't too many black men out there. I can't hear Rick Ross like, all right, you know what I mean? How you get 50 wing stops, right? And so like while even my wife feel that way. So while we are searching for that aspect, it's like, well, I gotta make sure on my personal side, my wife's side, my personal connections and business relations, I cannot respond the correct way. Because we may act out first, we may get it wrong. But all right, is there a way to correct this? I feel like I get that from my uncles and my dad now. You know what I mean? Like I learned that it's never too late to go back and apologize. And I used to didn't apologize. I don't think I started apologizing until I had a conversation with them.
Hey, trust me. It's the same way. It took me a while to unlearn a lot of BS, bro, and be comfortable and apologizing and be like, yeah, you know what? Like I was tripping. I was tripping.
Hey, facts. Like, hey, bro, my bad. Like I didn't want even to lick it. That was just me tripping. You know what I mean? Like I can't blame it on nothing but me. And so I learned, like it took a while, But I think learning that helped me in my marriage. Just apologizing. Like I'm a man, I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna offend you. Not even know I did because I had some smart remark, but simply, whether it's to my daughter, just I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I would like to move forward. Because otherwise, people hold grudges, man. You don't know why people hold grudges. You be like, "What? You still mad about that?"
Right.
You know,
you
what I
done
mean?
moved on, and they beefing with you, right?
So,
right.
and so I feel like I've been learning that. That's probably one of the good things I've been learning, hanging around my dad. Because they all getting at that age now. They losing people and they getting older. So it's all about they thought first. So I've been appreciating that aspect of life. It's been helping me tremendously in all aspects. Even like I used to, we was young. We used to argue about LeBron and basketball. Now I'll be like, oh, you like LeBron? Cool. I like Kobe. Cool. True. Let's have a shot. You know what I mean? I don't want to have a brain aneurysm over this. You know what I mean? You thought he was the best. I felt like Kobe was the best. You know what I mean? Like we cool.
Yeah. Difference of opinion. Yeah. That come with age.
That's
it come with that growth and that wisdom where you just like, yeah, man, like at the end of the day, like that don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to get back to me and mine. So like, cool. All right. Yeah. Like you said, let's take this shot and relax.
Relax just a little bit. And it's like I've been out, in places and you see somebody get rowdy and you just be like, I'd be like, my bad. I don't even know if I did something, if I finished you, my bad. Maybe I said something to you, bro, but you extra, I really didn't really want to go there, but I'm sorry.
Right. And that's smart. That's smart though.
When I see my friends from St. Louis, when I pull up on guys, first thing I say when I see them, oh, I love you. You looking good. First time I'm gonna compliment you. I miss you. I love you. You look, because I don't know if you ain't hearing that right now, but I understand that as a black man, I love you. You looking good. I hope for success. What's up? You know what I mean? Like that'd be the first thing I say. And I'm sorry if I ever offended you. Just, just trying to be better.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about right there. Just trying to be better. And like and that stuff we don't hear as black men, we don't hear that often,
Man,
like,
and when I hear it, I love it. I'm like, like you don't know, you just made my day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
literally, it makes my day. And so I try to make sure I express that gratitude now. And I'm like I said, I just turned 35, right? So it's not like I'm 40, I'm 50, and I'm walking around saying that. No, people got to understand though. When you start crossing certain circles, you start appreciating the person, giving them their flowers. When they say give them their flowers right here, this is what we mean. Just our genuine interaction. You know what I mean? When we get together, we ain't got to see each other every day. When we get together, hey, I miss you. You looking good. I'm wishing you success. And you know what I mean? And those who I hurt, I apologize.
Absolutely. So
that's that old head life though.
Yeah. I mean, it is, call me old head all you want, but like I want to see it. I want to see everybody win, bro. Right. Like, I want to see everybody happy. I want to see my people here. Like to enjoy that stuff. Like I went down to Dallas last year, and I told my homeboy this or whatever, but he had 2 daughters and things like that, and like one of his oldest had a soccer game. And so like me and my boy, we all boys and stuff, we was down there. We down there in Dallas to kick it, but we pulled up on his daughter's soccer game, and I'm sitting out there watching his daughter's soccer game, and I'm like, bro, like this is lit. This is what it's about. What I'm saying?
This is what it's about, literally.
get to watch my, because I call them my brothers, get to watch my nieces play soccer and like, the baby crawl around and have full-blown conversations with adults and just watching that intellect grow and just all that stuff. I'm like, nah, this is what it's about. And you couldn't have told me that at 21, bro. That like
at all.
I will find joy in that. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it's a dope thing. And as a black man, like you said, we got to tell each other, like, you looking good, how you doing? You good mentally? We want to network. What do you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Of course, we're gonna always kick it. It's always gonna be space for that.
Right.
But I want to make sure you good. I want to make sure you good as a person. You know what I'm saying?
So very true. Yeah, like literally, we got all the time to kick it. That ain't gonna change. But man, how you doing? Hope you're doing well.
Hey, absolutely.
Like, what high school did you go to, real quick?
I went to Cardinal Ritter, bro.
You went to CR. Okay, not bad. That's what's up. Okay, so then I went to I went to Parkway West. I went to Parkway.
Okay.
I went to Vashon, and I went to Roosevelt. That's because this is when DSEC ended, so they basically
kicked
out of the county schools. And so when I go on Facebook, man, and I see like my classmates and everything that's going on and how it ain't the best circumstances and situations, it really, and I be seeing people post, it really be affecting like all right, like I want to see better or more for the people that I grew up with, and sometimes that's not always the case. So it weighs heavily on just everybody's mental. Even the people that I'm around now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you from here, so it has St. Louis has its good and it has its bad. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Right.
I feel like our generation, the people that are within our age group, from about like I want to say 36, 37, probably to like right around like 28, 29 in that area, like really are doing a lot of positive things.
Very
like,
true.
Of course, like
Very
true.
the
art and music scene here is
Very
bubbling.
true.
The entrepreneur scene, you're an entrepreneur, like that is like businesses left and right, and spaces and co-working spaces for people to do a lot of different things and to connect with people and stuff like that. So of course the thing you want to do is like, I want to leave things better than what I came into it with.
Man, dude I went to school with named Aaron Fowler. He's been like in New York and Manhattan painting these huge murals like all over the city. And every time I see him, it's like some Times piece or something like that. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I wish you. How can I support your dreams? Like,
Absolutely.
you're doing the craziest stuff I've ever seen. But yeah, anyways,
yeah. But no, like you said, when you see him, you give him his props. Like, I love seeing that. So
very true.
But we were talking about the Melanated bar and things like that. What was the moment for that when you were like, for lack of better words, oh shit, we got something? Like, I think we found that niche. What was that moment?
Our first Black Friday. Our the first time that we sat down with a marketing plan that started back in and I think this was probably 2020, right? So I think it would have been like April or May. We started a marketing plan. We started to build up for the products, the space, started hiring people. And we went in it thinking we go in with the typical sales. We have a great $5,000-$7,000 night. It'll be amazing. And we were just like, what just happened? So it's like once you hit certain ceilings, right, you never go below that ceiling if you keep doing your job, right? And so we hit that. I think we hit 20K 2020 on Black Friday just that night, right? Not the weekend. And so like, all right, now my sales can never go below 20K a month. That was it for us. And since then we've only went up from that point forward, because once you get these people and they realize you got a good product, you're a good person, you know what I mean, and they relate to what you're doing, they become your friend for life, right? We don't call we call them Mela babes, right? Because these are the women or men. We have Mela men too, right? Because we have beard oil and whatnot. But these are the people who support us, not just the business or the products. They support us and what we do. But that very first Black Friday, because like I say, it was more than we could fathom. It was the first time we had even seen them type of numbers. The first time we had more than a $10,000 month, and then we go to not hitting less than 20K a month again ever. You know what I mean? And so, and those are and it happens every year. You know what I mean? Like, you set your standards every year. Once you hit that high month, okay, I don't ever, you know what I mean? How do we never go below that again? Like, how do I make sure the people that are supporting me are taken care of, and whatever reason they're coming to me? You know what I mean? How do I support them through what they're doing? So, and that's the culture that we kind of built here. Like, it's all organic. It started off as family and friends. Now being from St. Louis, being from Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, that when we started this, it was just basically you reaching out amongst our peers. You know what I mean? And they care, and it's a lot of us down there. And so it really was a family that started it, and it's still a family now. We just consider it like a growing family. Now we get new customers every day, right? But it's like, all right, at some point you become a part of the family. But yeah, that Black Friday 2020 let us know, like, okay, people love what you're doing, and people want more of what you're doing. You know what I mean? Now, and you just roll with it. And so that's what we did. And I think that's when we was just, we was all in before that. Cause like I said, I had joined on late 2019, but 2020, we was really working as a team to make sure that we was delivering the highest quality items that we could at the moment. And that Black Friday let us know that, okay, we'll be around for years to come. And then, here we is now where we're growing now. We're growing into a bigger space. We're still hiring people. We're still, we haven't hit ceilings on what we could do right now. We've been basically slowing ourselves down and pacing ourselves out, because you can only grow so fast based off your current circumstances. So it's like, we're pacing ourselves, and we love it. But 2020 Black Friday, man, James, it was amazing. And we probably worked through December like 26th day. Like, it was no Christmas for us that year. Like, because right then we were basically making products to order. Like, when they put in orders, they were waiting like 2 weeks to get their product. So back then it was like people was ordering, and so we got those sales. Them orders didn't go out to like after Christmas. You know what I mean? So we were, my daughters didn't have we was in Florida, so it's not a bad life when you can go outside and the beach is at your doorstep. So it's not like we were like, oh, but we didn't have a Christmas that year. We worked all the way through, and we made sure we'll never look back, and we were just all in.
Yeah, man. You set, literally setting the bar straight up.
Yeah, and every year, every Black Friday sets the bar for us. All right, what number do you hit that month? All right, so we don't want to go below that number ever again. You know what I mean? And then that's kind of how, that's what I say. Quarter 1 and quarter 4. Quarter 4 should be everybody's. You preparing for Black Friday. Quarter 1, you never want to go below Black Friday numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Hit that consistently and build you something. And so that's where we at now.
Got you. What are that there's the good, but then there's also the bad in the entrepreneurial space? What are some of the hurdles that you all encounter, especially making products specifically for, like you say, melanated people? It's not, when it comes to like health and things like that, of course they want to do a one size fit all, but our genetics are different than white folks. Let's just keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? Right. So as far as like some of those hurdles and those things that you encountered with the melanated bar, what were some of those things?
So one of them I was mentioning to you earlier, and it was like so many, I guess, people of color right now, right? We are trying to establish ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. Now, none of us own the supply chain that Walmart has, which is why they do what they do at the level that they do. It's all supply chain management for them. Cheapest product flowing, fastest available. Jeff Bezos, Amazon, same method, right? Finding Black people who are available for mentoring for businesses like ours, right? Like, we're not a small bit, what you would call us a small business, right? But technically, if you ask the government or IRS, we're not a small business, right? And so finding people who are available to mentor or make those processes easier, I would say, has been a real hurdle for us, whether it's a female or a male, right? I mean, because it's like they're also trying to get to the next level, right? We haven't got to the Dove level of skincare, and there's companies, they're out there, right? You know what I mean? But they haven't got there. Hair companies trying to get to that, whoever, olive oil, whoever got the best products out, whatever, whoever's getting it through Walmart and all of that, all that crazy stuff we use in fragrance. They're trying to get to those levels. So it's like they're not available for, small, because really you would say, well, if, we had some type of network, it could be a little easier for all of us to where, certain information is available. And so you don't have as many hurdles going forward, but the access to that level of mentorship or, that type of connection, that's been a hurdle for us. And we've been wishing it'd be different, but people come to us now, you know what I mean? And it's because they're getting over the humps that we got over in the past. Some people want to make $5,000 a month. Some of them trying to get to $30,000 a month. So they're asking us, and we're like, well, we love to have time for y'all, but we're trying to look to the next one up, and it becomes harder because, everybody's so secretive and protective because they still on the grind. Like, we're on the grind, they're on the grind. You know what I mean? And so it's like, well, I can talk to you later. All right, well, whatever. But so that's one, right? Our job market has changed here in America. People can find jobs from home, making pretty decent money. And so you're not getting, I feel like, and this could be a personal thing, right? I feel like I'm not getting, even when I go out, right? If I don't talk about the melanated bar, I feel like I'm not getting the best service when I go out. I feel like the people that are out sometimes have to be out, but the people who are home are the ones that we need out working, right? And so, so the talent pool has basically changed. And so I think that's a problem with, or I guess that's a hurdle. I wouldn't say it's a problem. It's a hurdle for us because you're having to sift through, who's available and who's who, and not who's just looking for a job at the moment. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, everybody signs up for DoorDash for the day. You know, who's consistent over a 7-day period though? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think that's changed in our environment, right? For us right now, we're learning about, or I'm learning about access to capital, access to available money for Black businesses. You know what I mean? And you may experience this yourself, and other business owners know, when you put down on the application that you know, a certain skin tone, you know, even with your 800 credit score, somehow you don't get that pre-approval. Right. And so
Mm-hmm.
one thing we've learned is we only apply for stuff that come with a pre-approval. You know, and I think PNC Bank called me the other day, right? I've been with them for 9 years. And they was like, well, you know, we see we only do blah, blah, blah. You know, we're wondering what's going on. I was like, well, I got other accounts because y'all ain't never offered me a pre-approval. Y'all ain't never offered me anything, really. I mean, you've
Right.
taken my money before and I bank with you, but you know, you're too big to really sit around with a business like mine and deal with me. So I've found other institutions who have, but you know what I mean? I feel like that's probably and I'm involved with Benny Red Vodka that's coming up out of St. Louis, right? I'm mentioning him just because I'm on his board and whatnot, right? But
Okay.
you know, I mean, as the first Black owned vodka company, it's a double flavor vodka, right? All right, it takes millions of dollars to get these liquor brands started. That's why they always started by celebrities with millions, you know what I mean? People who already
Mm-hmm.
have it. So it's like, well, if I got the same access, how is it so hard to get access to this capital? But when I mark on this application or when I talk to somebody, it's because I'm of color. You know what I mean? And so,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's, you know, some people say that's obvious, right? You know, they make it harder for us. But we notice the hurdles because it affects us real time. You know what I mean? Now, I'm grateful for the people that we do find, but it is a real hurdle out here because there's money available. It's about who's getting the money and why. Because somebody that don't look like me can go get a loan off of an idea or capital off of an idea. Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
I have legit returns and I couldn't get half of what they got. They had an idea that they haven't even, it ain't even a prototype, but you gave them, you know, $3 million. And, you know, 10 years later, they may make that prototype. I'm active right now, but because I don't look like them, you know what I mean? I don't have the access to the same capital. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And lastly, education on the tax system.
All right.
Like,
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
and I tell people that it's hard for Black people to know about a system that we didn't design. And so no matter who I meet and who I talk, and I've been working, you know, I went from LLC, I'm an S Corp now, I'm a shareholder. I avoid this and I do this. And we got G Travel Logistics, which is what we do our rental properties through. Every month, it's a learning day because I'm not able to access all the resources I need to understand these tax codes. And it's like it's only certain people who know the tax code. And so having that information or being able to have somebody have the time to sit down and actually be honest or truthful with you, that's a hurdle too. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's becoming a real, but you know, I looked at somebody and I said, well, if I learn it myself, you know what I mean, no matter how long it takes me, at least I'll know it at some point. And so that's kind of
Absolutely.
that's where we've gotten for is some of these hurdles that we've been facing. And then one of them would just be us moving here. Now we just need more space, but living in Illinois, that becomes a problem, especially Chicago, because they don't offer as much space. And when you
Right.
do want the more space, you got to pay for it. Illinois is
Mm-hmm.
also one of the highest tax places. So if I decide to get that space, now I'm paying like twice the tax rate on the property, the income, the expenses. Wow. This, you know what I mean? Like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And so honestly, I'll be honest, that's why we're looking at Indiana now. Like we don't even want the space in Illinois anymore because
Mm-hmm.
of those situations with Illinois. So
Yeah.
those are our hurdles. And so I mean, so it's every day there's a different hurdle. Like even if I just look at trademarks, like you know, people, I can tell you right now, it's a company that's Caucasian that wants to trademark the word melanated. You know what I mean? Like they challenged our trademark. Granted, ours is a whole business name, so we won that. But you know, you got companies who are bigger who will challenge you because
Yeah.
they see that flow in what you're trying to do, and they know that if you take this word, they can't use it, right? And then now you trademark this word, you make all the money, but who's really making the money? Who's really buying the businesses? It ain't us, right? So
Right.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like it's hurdles. Like the hurdles are just they all over the place. And so actually being over operations every day that I get up is like, all right, I'm really learning a new skill or a new task to make sure that we're successful at what we're doing. And so my job is always evolving because I'm trying to make sure that I'm up to date on whatever whatever's going on at the moment or whatever we face as a company, that we kind of get to the next level.
Yeah, that's so crazy that some, of course, I'm not surprised, but that's what big corporations and companies do. But to try to literally little man, yeah, over a word that, of course,
Literally.
people that look like me, you and your wife and stuff like that, started making popular and things like that, and then they want to come in and like, oh, we want to take that. That is so insane to me.
We can't let you have full exclusivity to that. What do you mean?
Exactly.
You may not take advantage of it like we're going to do, because that's really what they want to do. Take advantage of it now. You know what I mean? Like, come on, now stop playing.
But take advantage and not put anything in, for sure.
But those are, and that's just a hurdle I face. I mean, we're dealing with that at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, that just became a block, like that. It takes away from your mental. But every day that you wake up, you reset. How do I turn the lights on? Get the lights on. Let's operate. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we at.
Okay. Yeah, that's a dope, beautiful, beautiful way to look at it. So of course, you say you think about the first and the fourth quarter and things like that. Uh-huh. And you've already achieved so much. So I'm trying to figure out the right way to word this. What's next, bro? like it's of course you're happy with the state of Melanated Bar and things like that. But after you do that, you do develop the idea of like, what can we do next? Mm-hmm. Or whatnot. So what to you, in your vision, what does that look like for you?
So what our idea for me, what we want to be. And so I hit the nail on the head when I said we want to be the next Dove. Mm-hmm. Because why does Dove exist still now? They shouldn't. But that's what we want to be. We want to be bigger. We want to be better. We want to be right for not just melanated people. We just want to be better. Our products, we source them. They're natural. They're organic. They're better. They're better for our skin. If they're better for my skin, they're better for your skin. Mm-hmm. you know what I mean? Like, only the stuff that benefits us helps anybody else. You know what I mean? And so that's what we see ourselves like. We want to make sure when you go to the hotels now, it's our shampoo, our soap that's in the showers. You know what I mean? We want the body wash, the full line. Like when you go, you know what I mean? And we don't want to. Well, I don't want Target or Walmart to own us. You know what I mean? And so like we're not. We want to own ourselves, right? And just be available, because we just want to provide a better, safer option for people, so you can know what you're buying, know what you're using. You know what I mean? But like my soap bar on everybody's counter. And so we have a lot of work to do, because we're still right now mainly in skincare and body care, right? We don't really have a body bar right now. Our turmeric bars, people use them for their body, but we don't have a body bar, right? We don't have a face. Simple. Some people don't use soap on their face, right? And all we have is soap for faces. Some people like face washes. We don't even have a face wash yet. You know what I mean? So we have several different areas that we haven't even, because I mean, so all of our formulas, right, they're chemically designed to work, to do what we say they're going to do. They're put together by scientists, and Paula, they sit down, she makes sure it's the best thing available. So it does take time, but we're in a position where we want to get all of these things launched, right? And 3 to 5 years from now, we'll look back and see where we at today. And that'll tell us, you know what I mean, if we're headed in the right path. But we still have so much work to do just in skincare alone. Just getting, you know what I mean, like we have the men's beard oil. People love the beard oil, and it can never stay in stock right now. But we don't have a beard wash. We don't have a beard conditioner. We don't have the full men's package yet. We just have the beard oil that the men love. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. So our product supply, we still have a line of items that we're working on right now. And I probably just gave hints and clues to certain stuff that we are working on, but we have a whole list of things that we're still working on. You know what I mean? We're taking the time, we're making sure we're getting the best ingredients, and we want to go forward with all of this and just be real to who we are, be the same company we are. We're growing organic. You know what I mean? Ain't no paid followers, ain't no paid advertisers. You know, the people that call themselves brand ambassadors, right? They're our customers. They're our customers. They use our products and they send videos because they're a testimony to what the products have done for them. Some of these people was buying products from us when we was writing on the containers, when we were shipping in like poly mailers. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Okay.
you get the boxes. You get the boxes now. They all elegant with the tape and the inserts and it's like next day shipping. Some people was waiting on our products for 3-4 weeks and getting the most basic level, but they're the walking testaments to what we do today. You know what I mean? Like, my cousin was like, so how do y'all do it? Well, I say, well, it's just not a gimmick. It's just real. When my wife was at home and she was depressed and she was trying to figure out a way to make herself feel better, she just simply started washing her face. She washed her face. She made sure she got up. She washed her face. She made sure she was ready for the day. She was dressed for the day, and she completed her day, and she ended her day with taking care of herself in the bathroom. You know what I mean? And I just stayed out of the way from that until I learned and understood what she was doing and what she was working on, and she released a whole line of products. So for us, it's actually finishing that, right? Getting the rest of our line out and seeing where could we go next? You know what I mean? We know where we want to go, but we have a lot of work to do to get there, man. Well, I'm still fighting these IRS people, trying to learn, just trying to be better, right?
Right.
Don't want to be Donald Trump, but how do I?
I mean, I want some of them cuts he getting. That's that's real. That's real.
Like, why am I paying so much, bro? What did I do
wrong? Absolutely. Yeah, that's dope, man. To keep pushing, keep continuing to push the envelope, like you said. We offer something that's really, really dope. So why not have it everywhere?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And while also keeping the integrity of, the reason behind it or whatever. And I think it is super dope and powerful that it started with your wife. When you're going through depression and, battles mentally and stuff like that, getting up and simply washing your face is a win.
Crazy, man. I didn't wash my face till I met my wife. I don't know about other black men, Jay, right? I don't know about other black men, right? But I was the type of cat that, I wake up splashing water on my face, brush my teeth, and get going. Now I'm in there for like 15 minutes washing my face. Making sure when I step out with other men, now I want to make sure my face is good, my nails are manicured. You know what I mean? Like, you get older and you start realizing like that stuff is actually important, taking care of my skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, self-care is a real thing, man. So yeah, kudos. Like I said, man, kudos to both of y'all. I tip my hat to y'all, man. Y'all are doing something really, really dope. And yeah, if y'all listening, tap in. They can always use more support, man. Especially with something like this. But before we get out of here, give them your socials and information where they can reach out to you, find the products, everything.
Okay, I'm a real quick. We will be at Frizz Fest in St. Louis. It's a huge event. We were there last year.
Shout out to Frizz Fest.
It's gonna be amazing. Come see us. You can tap in with us there. We do the Black Women's Expo in Chicago. Follow us on all platforms, though, and you can keep up with us. It's the Melanated Bar. That's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, www.themelanatedbar.com. Once you tap in, you'll be locked in with us forever. We do I think we just had a yoga event here in Chicago. We want to get it going in St. Louis too. So because it's more than just about us selling skincare, right? It's also about self-care. So we want to get the yoga event in St. Louis. We did yoga, some facials. So tap in, find out what's going on. The blog is available. We are available. And St. Louis is home for us too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no matter everybody that steps away, you already know it's nothing like it, man.
I think you was talking to your guy that was in LA now or something, or St. Louis is home, right? Like,
man, it is.
We may leave to go, do what we need to do because it's certain ceilings in St. Louis, but that's home, so we're always like locked in what's going on.
Yep, bring it back to the crib after you've tweaked it, you fine-tuned it and everything like that, and you're like, bring it home, man. But yeah, I will definitely tap in with y'all. And I love Frizz Fest, so I will be there. Absolutely, man. Yeah. But for everybody that's in St. Louis, make sure y'all tap into them when they come to Frizz Fest, and just tap in them with their socials and all the products and things they got going. Chris, man, like I was saying before we jumped on the call, appreciate it, man. Anybody that comes on the podcast, I want to create a space for them. And I really, really appreciate you coming on and just telling your story about everything, man.
I appreciate you having me, man. I've enjoyed this time. I'm definitely gonna reach out to Paul and see if she can tap in with y'all, and I think you'd have fun with her too, man.
Okay, say less, man. So make sure y'all tap in with my boy, tap in with the Melanated Bar. Until next time, we holla at y'all later. Peace.